It's a little bit warm. We cooled off and we warmed back up again, but it's nice.
No, you need to send a little bit of that our direction. It's 39 right now here in Kansas City.
Cooled off and we warmed back up again, but it's nice. All right, so we're live. No one's here yet. Well, 39 is not awful, you know. I think you're going to the same weather they got in Ohio, too.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah. Yes, list heart. Hello. That's an anagram like restless heart, it looks like.
Yeah. Yeah, get everything opened up here.
So Kimmy's brought some of that wonderful weather back from Hawaii there. Looks like that was a wonderful trip.
Yeah, they packed a lot of things into those days. They stayed busy, so they had a lot of fun.
I was teasing her about sending that overnight express there, taking some of that heat and putting it in a tiny little box and just sending it in our direction.
Yeah, you can always try. But
Hola, ¿cómo está?
She went and recorded some video outdoors Saturday, and it was probably about 40 then, but she said it was nice. I guess she's getting used to it. She does not handle cold weather very well with some of her ailments.
Yeah, that happens when around here trying to get acclimated. Since we didn't have fall, we've had no spring and no fall. This gradual stellar activation cycle is really changing things up for a lot of us old souls. We're not getting used to changing the weather patterns there. What's on your mind? Yesenia.
Yesenia, I guess. What's your birthday, Yesenia? Thanks. Hi, Angel.
Welcome back, Angel.
(11/7/1988).
It was a good year.
Well, Yesenia, your birthday means foresight and mental mastery. You can be immensely intelligent, and also you can be hard to comprehend. You have a great sense of humor, but you can be judgmental and opinionated. Learning and understanding comes very easy to you. You're someone who can listen to both sides of the argument, and you'll pick out what's most important. You like financial security. It's what gets you up in the morning. Your mental nature is so strong that you are actually naturally psychic. You can be stubborn. You can solve problems quickly. You're a natural at communications, writing, speaking, teaching. You understand things better than most people think you do.
And yes, Sunny,
Yep, go ahead.
I get an impression that you've got a star seed here with her, that she's come here and visited us before in ancient times as a mermaid. I don't know if she gets that connection yet or not, but I get a distinct impression that she was at one point in time a mermaid, and either here visiting prior to Atlantis, or in another planetary system, but definitely a mermaid. Go ahead, Skip.
A mermaid. Let's see. Challenges she needs to work on are impatience, philosophy, thinking too much. You can be hard-headed, but that can get in the way of relationships. So be careful of that. Be careful of too much partying.
Yeah, Sonny, were you trying to have a baby here, or did you have a child? And was it like in your inner about you? I feel like there was a child near about your womb, and you don't have that child right near within you, or were you trying to have a baby, or was this something that has already occurred? I got an impression like there's this soul that's like right close to your womb, and it's a he. It's like I get an impression like this male figure, this masculinity. Although that's not always necessarily when they're born, but this is like an entity that's a masculine soul, and it's definitely. And he's giving me the impression that he's pulled towards you, gravitates towards you, and he's come back, and you've tried before and it's failed. And not to get too personal, but I get the impression that you've had sorrow and loss, and this is a challenge where you felt like you want to just give up, throw in the towel, and this is like you blame yourself. Your family's kind of been heavy with you on this, and you wanted to, and you feel like this is something where there's been a lot of doubt for a lot of things, but let's get this in perspective and don't give up. Okay, it can happen. It will happen. It should happen, but with the right time and the way God wants it to happen. Okay, because He has a mission and you have a mission to fulfill, but it has to be in the parameters the way God wants it to happen. If that makes sense to you. Okay, not the way necessarily the way you think it should, but the way God wants it to happen. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
So it's not always
does, yeah.
It's not always the way we want it to happen, but it has to move in parallel the way God wants it to move. Does that make sense? We have to kind of get in the boat and get oars in the water and roll with the flow the way God wants it to go. It's not always pleasantries and calm waters, but energy that's around you. He's like close to you. He's giving me the impression that you held him in your arms, and it's like he's showing me the womb, and this is like something you have. I get the impression you're not too far out of the ballpark with being able to have him here in the very, very near soon future. So I'm not saying that you're going to be or have, you're obviously still potentially fertile. In other words, I'm not saying go out here and go, try right away, but it's very, very close in the near future for you. I encourage you not to give up hope in that area. Does that make sense? He's like showing me in so this coming December here, he'll reveal himself in your dreams, and then come about March or so, you'll know that you'll be fertile again. You should start trying again in March, in the month of March. He sends his love and light. I get an impression for some reason, and I know you're not Irish, but Patrick, there's like Patrick, or whoever this Patrick is, he's telling me to say hello. I don't know who he is, but to say hello to you. I think that's like one of those inside jokes. It's meant for you to know, not for me. Hello, Loretta.
Hi, Loretta.
Did we cover Angel?
We had one before Angel, Haley.
Haley.
Let's see. Haley was April 13th was her birthday. Well, Haley, your birthday means power and values. You can be a shining individual. You stand out in the crowd. Native Americans, their religions consider you as a giver of all life. You have a deep knowing sense about yourself as if you've lived a previous life. As a female, it's hard to find compatibility because most men are going to be intimidated by you. You are constantly becoming divine insight, divine understanding. You're a great organizer. Careful of that because you want to control everything. You have a deep nature to serve. Service to others is always something that will give fulfillment to you. You'll have nice surroundings, nice living conditions. Inability to correct things, to pay your bills can cause you depression. So, stay on top of your matters. Financial creativity, inspiration, cleverness, all things that you're good at. Difficulties, staying on top of your priorities, self-control, expressing gratitude. Those are things that you need to be aware of and work on. Keep those things in mind.
Hallie, have you had some challenges where you've had family issues at home where you've not been able to? I take it that there's been a broken home. Your parents not still together? Not to get too personal, put you on the spot there, but is there some conflicts where your family has had some obstacles? I'm getting like this. There's some some obstacles in this holiday is really, really getting depressing with you, and it's like gravity, like a big boat anchor on you. And it's like energy relative to your family, your immediate family. It's like there's holidays are coming, it sucks, your family's not coming together, and here you are. And where do you fall into this category?
No reply yet.
Okay, kind of give me a little insight on that. We'll roll on to the next year. It's like there's some depression going on there in the family with Haley's family there that needs to heal. Angel, did we answer Angel's question on work related?
Yeah, her birthday is July 24th, 1979.
I get the impression that sweeping through this is like Angel's the more the caretaking type of person. The caretaking type of person typically tells me this is the kind of person that's good in health related fields of customer service, fields of hotel management, restaurants, things of that nature. This is like you're the kind of person that takes care of nurturing and seeing to it people's needs are met. If this is satisfactory and fulfills you, I'd say, Angel, go for it. This is the kind of thing that will pay the bills. Go for it. But if it's something that you love, this is what you enjoy, then go for it. Absolutely. No doubt in my mind. Is what you're called to do. If it's not something you wake up in the morning and you feel like you say, hey, this is what I feel fulfilled in doing, I don't want you to feel like if there's something that there's a better opportunity for you out there that will make you feel love and joy and inspiration and get you up out of bed and go, woo, yay, then that's what you need to go for. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I get this impression is like I've fallen and I can't get up. It's like you're that caretaker kind of person. It's like that person that whenever there's somebody choking in a restaurant and you're that person to go over there and go help them. You're not that kind of person to just sit there idly and watch that person while they're in that situation. You're that kind of person to go and take action. And that's God bless you, because we need more people like you. And in that capacity, you're a valuable member of society. And that's where you need to be able to go across the table with this, and in employment, or rather employers need to look at you and see that value. But don't sell yourself short. I'd advise you to go look at that employer eye to eye and say, I'm going to go ahead and ask for that little extra bonus right at the beginning of the interview. Go ahead and justify that with the added skills that you have. If this is a skill set that you have, add that in there. The only downfall I see is don't, like Skip was talking about here in a prior reading, don't overthink it. Don't get yourself in a situation where you find yourself pushing yourself too hard, beating yourself up too much to accomplish goals. Move on to the next. If it's unfinished work and it's something that's beyond what your skill set or capability, don't feel bad to delegate. Be able to pass. some of that responsibility onto other people. That makes sense to you.
Yeah,
Don't be that overthinker.
that was actually for Haley, some of that.
Mm-hmm.
Angel's mind is constantly working. She's got a mind that never sleeps. Probably, finds it hard to sit still and relax very much. She likes to debate because she doesn't debate unless she feels she's going to win. She always takes a side. She can really argue.
Have faith in yourself. You have to believe in yourself first. You got to be able to look at yourself in the mirror and say, I believe in myself. You have to know that. You have to believe in you. If you can't believe in yourself, and no one will ever trust in you, believe in you, and be loyal and have confidence in you. Does that make sense? Therefore, you will be open up to debate. You will open up to argument with people because you're always really challenging and debating yourself inside. Does that make sense? You can wear yourself out overthinking things like that, but you'll never win that. It's like playing tic-tac-toe with yourself. It doesn't work. Loretta Rose. Interesting name. Loretta has a birthday March 14th, 75.
Yeah. Well, I think she was asking about work too.
I see her like in and around, kind of like what you're doing, Skip, with the equestrian, although not so much like with your photography, but she's like at horses. They're showing me horses like equestrian, like whether she's got a hobby with horses or is like an equestrian, like either whether she's worked with, rode, or has a fascination or hobby with or around them or taking care of them, or whether it's a veterinary services or something around them with animals. And I'm being shown them these are definitely horses and an equestrian, like an animal. Taking care of them seems to be this is like symbolic what I'm being shown. Has she got any skill set with like veterinary service, animal health, or anything of that nature? She living on a farm or near a farm. See, it feels like the key to her happiness is twofold. Obviously, providing, but yet at the same time being able to feel fulfilled. And I'm feeling this sensation that her happiness is being able to have something she can take care of that gives her that fulfillment and gives her that means of income. And this is specifically in that aspect of, which is kind of interesting because it's exactly what you and I spoke up here a while back. And this is like an equestrian is being shown to me. This is work with animals.
Well, I see her as very value centered, and they give of themselves, but They can go both ways. They can give to do so selflessly, or they can also give to see if they can get something back later on. But those ones who stick to their core values are the ones who always give selflessly. She can be a good advisor, but when it comes to her own matters, she'd be best asking others for advice. She finishes what she starts. Uh, her perception is very good. Valuable coaching. She can, someone who gives financial support to others. She is of service to others, especially with advice or money.
I get the impression that she's got children that are of age, matured, that this is like a time in her life where I feel like she's more or less like an empty nester. She's experiencing that need to nurture in her life, and this would be the opportune time for her to be able to find work in that capacity where she can do both, either whether it be with humans or animals, more specifically with animals, because in the way that her mannerisms is, the way it's being shown to me, animals don't judge. Animals don't tell you their feelings and point of view based on facts and circumstances that have either has happened or will happen with you, and that you can feel satisfaction in being gainfully employed working with them, because when you care for an animal, that animal doesn't judge you. That animal doesn't tell you their opinion. That animal can reflect back to you that love and that satisfaction of being taken care of without any judgment. And that to you is satisfactory. That complements well with your kind of nature of nurturing and compassion. That makes sense.
Well, we have, I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Casil?
Kaushik.
Yeah, maybe her birthday is March 17th, 1995. Well, she's someone who keeps things in perspective on their importance, likes to share and receive information, can be a good teacher, very responsible. Very responsible. Definitely would work two jobs to keep financial obligations in order. Can be high minded, can be a bit selfish if you don't watch yourself. But definitely a deep thinker, ability to understand. They complete what they start. But take the high road. You're very talented, and if you take the high road, life will work out very well for you.
Miss Townsend seems to have someone about her that's a soul that has come from the other side, that has shared with her that she has that may disturb her or alarm her, but nothing to be concerned about. This old soul is about her. It's your guardian or your spirit guide, if you want to call it that. this person has been with you for some time, and I get a sense that this person has been your advisor for some critical matters in your life. You should pay more attention to Detroit for some reason near Michigan. I don't know why that seems to be relevant. It's not meant for me to have to interpret that, but keep that in your head that they're showing me Michigan for whatever reason. But I'm connecting with your advisor. Excuse me. It's your your soul advisor, your spirit guide, I guess is what you would call it. But your soul advisor. I guess we have new terms for it. This is a man who's been about you, who's passed. Very nice gentleman. I take it this has been some things that have happened around you that it may have caused alarm or disturbances in or around about your house or family, but nothing to be concerned about. This is a person that has been around your life, and I take it as a relative of yours who has been there to visit with you in your dreams. Pay attention to this because this is good for you. This is a person to help you to develop your skills and abilities, your empathic abilities in your near future. Welcome to the family there. I know it's baby steps, but they will come about. I take it that he's got some things he wants to share with you in detail, but he'll go over these things with you in your dreams as he comes to you in your dreams. Nothing to be alarmed about. Are you going to school right now? Is there some school like education and training coming about? Or something that's been put on the back burner? Because if so, that needs to come sooner than later. Because I'm hearing the words, I'm thinking about it, or some procrastination that needs to stop, and that needs to happen sooner than later. Not to put you on spot, but that needs to happen sooner than later. Miss Blossom.
I think we missed one. We had Kevin a little earlier. His birthday is September 2nd, 1968. He's looking for a new job.
Koshiki. September 2nd. Yes, Kevin's in the Kevin. If you're in the coastal lines, if you're closer to the, I'm feeling like eastern borders, like the coastal lines. You're going to have to make this decision sooner than later to move from the regions that you're at for work wise, because the jobs are not plentiful where you're at. I don't say that very lightly. I get the impression that you're getting directed by other than what we're telling you here tonight, but you've been told this before. But I get the impression that your eyes are on the ball, that you see the signs, and what we're telling you tonight is just solidifying in your mind what you've already been told to move in the direction that you need to go forward into seeking employment outside of the realm of where you've already been turning over rocks and leaves and so on and so forth, and move west. That makes sense. I hear that, move west, young man, like that old adage there. If you're into the East Coast, that's not where you're looking in the right direction there. If you're in the southern regions, it's not where you're intended to be work related wise. It's not to say that it has anything to do with the region. It just has to do with the work that you're in. You need to be looking elsewhere for the employment that you're seeking. As far as the specifics of it, you're going to have to be looking outside of the. My best advice to you is to do this. Take a random. Now, this is old school, but take an old atlas, open it up, take the time, and in the evening hours when everything's quiet and still, say a prayer, put your hand over that and let God guide you in the direction that he wants to move you to. He already has intended for you, but you just have to ask him. It's easy, and then he'll move you in the direction. It's just as simple as your hand is that compass, and he'll just move you in that direction. It's not an Ouija kind of thing. There's no voodoo to it. He'll just move you in that direction. It's already done that. You just have to see that you just have to let go of the wheel, let him direct you to that where he wants you to go. If that makes sense, Kevin. And I congratulate you for listening to us for umpteen time, because I'm sure I get the impression this isn't the first time. This is not your first rodeo. You've been told this a few times before.
Yeah, I'm getting, he needs to have courage to solve problems. Don't be afraid to separate yourself from loved ones. So definitely money, careful planning. So yeah, definitely looks like he does need to move to improve his circumstances.
Have faith, brother. Get out of the boat. Skip and I've had that conversation. We know exactly what it's all about. It's a faith walk. You have to be able to, if you've never had it, in a sense, years ago, Zig Ziglar said, if you had wanted something you've never had, you had to be prepared to do something you've never done. It's a faith walk. It's worth it. I've had countless people over the years who can attest to it, and they have succeeded. Believe me, they have succeeded. It will happen if you set your intention. It will happen.
Well, I think Ladivia is up next.
Miss Blossom. January 31st, 62. Miss Blossom. Miss Blossom is Miss Blossom is an Aquarius and a water bird. Compassionate caretaker. What is it with all these caretakers tonight? We've got a lot of them tonight. Goodness. I see a sundial. They're showing me a sundial with you, Lavidia. It's a old Roman sundial where the shadow is cast on the clock. It's showing me this as a metaphor. So this is a time critical situation. There's decisions that you're faced with, and this is where in that sundial where the sun has like come at mid hour, and the shadow comes over the dial on that old Roman sundial. And so this is like critical for you to get moving on this before the shadow cast its, or the sun cast its shadow rather on the next V or X or I on the Roman numerals there. So it's critical that you get moving. You stop procrastinating, girl. You got to get going on this. So bear with me. I'm trying to get the other half of what's going on with this, but you have something that you're supposed to be doing that you're not doing, and you've been just kind of putting this off like, well, yeah, teeter. I get the impression that you're sitting on the fence with this, like you've got your feet planted on two different sets of lily pads. Not to get nosy, but you're going to have to get off on one of those and get off that fence and get moving on this, because that clock, that sundial is tick tock. They're showing me the urgency of this pendulum is swinging. So let's not just keep thinking about it. Let's make some action, make it happen, make it move it.
Well, she is someone who, she's asking relationship questions in the past, and definitely her birthday is one that is definitely a priority for them. They're always looking for that person, and they can get very frustrated. But finding that satisfaction is always a challenge to them.
Here's an upside down paradigm here, and I know this is not the kind of thing that you always want to hear, but this is something you have to hear. And I know I've said this before, a few clients other than you have heard the same thing, but in order for you to be able to find the satisfaction that you're seeking, you have to be able to look at yourself and take away some of the things that Michelangelo would talk about when he would create a sculpture before he would find like a sculpture of a statue that you'd look at. For example, he would just take a simple block and he would imagine this figure in his mind. In order to get this out of his mind, he'd take that hammer and that mallet and that chisel, and he'd just start taking inside his tools and taking and chipping away everything that didn't make the complete image inside his mind as a whole, until it was there out of his mind, then it wasn't complete. So when you look for that partner, that mate, you've got to be able to transform yourself into the image of what you want to reflect to your mate, what the best core values you can offer your mate. What can you give that person? If the answer inside, if you're looking at yourself objectively from somebody else's point of view, is that you can not offer these items, what can you do to improve those things to make it better? Don't be afraid to pick up a hammer and a tool or chisel, metaphorically, something to be able to chip away those things that are keeping you from being able to rebuild and become a better person, so that you have that better statuesque image to be able to offer those characteristics and personality traits that would reflect something that has more to offer. Then when you're ready, girl, you won't have a problem with being able to go out here into the world and have 10 or 12 or 20 offers on the table. They'd be falling over themselves, you know what I mean? To be able to say, wow, it'd be behooving, to say the least. Who wouldn't want to have someone like that? The key element is you have to first look at yourself and be able to change that in your mind. When you're ready to change yourself in your mind, change that channel, do just like Michelangelo or Da Vinci or anybody else, and be able to radically change that from the inside out. And then when you're able and you're ready to be able to walk out here onto the streets and be able to look at anyone else and say, hey, I'm ready. What do you have to offer? The cards are in your hands. Isn't that about right, Skip? Your odds are in that. What do we call that, Skip? The full house.
Yeah.
Or stacked deck, I think would be more the appropriate term.
Definitely, yeah, that would work in your favor.
Ace in the hole.
Yeah.
But you get the idea. You got to love yourself first. You got to believe in yourself first, and you got to be able to create a whole new you to offer a whole new you. I think Alice in Wonderland. That's a good example of how to start new. Creating a whole new you creates a whole new opportunity, and it does work.
Well, we have Kyra Hardy up next, January 29th, 1995.
Is it pronounced
Asking about career. Has a good job now, but wants opportunities to travel for work.
I believe it's Kira. Is it pronounced Kira? Kira? Yeah, let's see.
Kyra, yeah.
I think it's Kira. Let's see here. Kira. Girl, let's go talk about this for a minute. First of all, you sell yourself short in your skills. You have management skills, yet you have the skills to be able to market yourself. You have public communication skills, marketing skills. You have people skills. You have this organizational skills. I'm hearing, and this is only what I'm being told, so don't kill the messenger here. Why aren't you using this in sharing this in a capacity of a sales, marketing, where you can do the best of both, where you can travel and you can teach in the capacity of coaching, training, using your skills, teaching people how to market whatever the product is, sell the product, show the product, demonstrate the product, whatever this is, it is yours to do. But using your skills in that business platform, whatever that vehicle is, why aren't you using that instead of sitting in that 8x10 office interviewing people, answering the phone, but staring at the computer screen? Why aren't you reaching out and taking that opportunity to be able to go out there and to share and to show and to put that in front of people and be able to demonstrate out here where people have that opportunity to have your skills, that you enjoy this challenge, this interaction, to be able to show them what you're capable of. This is just what I'm hearing. Why aren't you doing that? You have it. Why aren't you doing it? You could use skill.
Yeah, definitely. Very clever, brilliant, charismatic. They could be an attorney. Definitely is someone could be on top of her game.
I'm getting like in health related insurance industries, pharmaceutical companies. There's like right immediate. This may not be a long term deal, but this is like there's a health and pharmaceutical medical sales companies are calling, and you're like the go-to person there, and it's coming right up front to me that you're the person and make connections with, and you're the go-to person, and that's very satisfactory to you because they're relying on you for the answers that they're seeking, and that's a challenge that you love. I'd say go for that. That's your skill set, girlfriend. Why aren't you picking up the phone and making those calls?
Yeah, definitely good at business deals. New directions. Yeah, definitely is in her wheelhouse. She could do that very easily.
I'd say, Kira, in the next 2 to 3 months, if you don't come back to us and share your success story with everybody, I'd be like, wow, girl, you're procrastinating. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they worry and procrastinate, but yeah, the ability is there. But
don't wait until after Christmas. Do this now. It will take time. It'll take months, but start now because this is the worst time to get a job. However, this is the best time to put the application and the resumes and such. It will be after Christmas before you get contacted, but don't lose any sleep over it. Just put them in now. I believe we have Miss Perry. Did we answer Miss Perry's question?
What does Spirit want me to know?
I'm being shown a house, like a bungalow or two-story house. And there are no decorations for holidays and no Christmas tree. And this is like an empty. It's got furnishings and what have you, but this is the holidays like right now, the present. There's no decorations or anything of that nature, and this family had suffered some sort of loss of some sort. Is something that's happened recent, and no one has taken initiative to have the holiday spirit. I'm getting the impression that this is something that needs to change right now, immediately, effective this week. It needs to be Christmas music on, Christmas decorations need to be put up, holiday spirit needs to come in this house, regardless of the tragedy. This is something that needs to happen. It needs to come back into this house. This doesn't feel warm and friendly in this house. It feels cold, and I feel cold. And if I feel cold and they feel cold, they're not welcome to this house. So someone has lost or they've suffered loss in this house, and if this feels this way for them, then the question is well, why aren't they doing it? Why aren't they decorating the house and making it feel warm and happy again, and bringing about this in this home? If you're not making this house feel warm and welcome for an angel to visit, sweetheart, why wouldn't you want it to feel warm and welcome for a stranger to come, for Skip and I to come? Why wouldn't you want it to be feeling warm and welcome for your loved ones to come and feel welcome again into this home? If there's loss, I don't know all the circumstances. I'm just feeling, I'll tell you what I'm feeling. If there has been a loss recently, you need to make them feel welcome. You need to let them feel comfortable and to come and visit again. Don't let them feel cold like I feel right now. This isn't something like I feel like I would want to come and visit you. Does that make sense? And if there has been a loss, then could you please play the music for them again and put the Christmas decorations on again so that they could feel welcome to come back in your house again? It's like they're there, but you haven't invited them, because it's like you guys are. I'm not singling anybody out, but it's like as though you're seeing through the tiny little keyhole through the door, and that's all you see. And okay, we're not going to let anybody in, and we're just going to sit here and wallow. Stop that. Open the door, light it up, decorate it, make it feel joyful, make it feel warm and welcome for them to come in, make it feel inviting enough for the angels to come, and they'll come. I promise you, they'll come. Does that make sense? Asia.
Yeah, Asia. March 16th, 97. Julian is July 16th.
'93 was a good year. '97 wasn't a bad year, but it was okay.
Let's see.
Don't stop dating. Okay. Let's not lose focus of what you're together for. It's meant for you guys to experience this, even though it may be temporary in this life. But believe me, don't stop dating. Share these moments as if this is your last lifetime. Okay. Not that it is. I don't mean this to be a scary ultimatum kind of thing, but share these moments with each other as though it's your last lifetime. You hear me? Okay. I won't repeat that again. don't stop dating each other. Okay, take the time to make the dates. Don't put that off. I know that a lot of other things are getting in the middle of your guys' relationships. I know that there's work and school and commitments and family, etc. The key element here is make it a date night every week. Put it on your calendar. Set that time aside. Schedule it as though it is the most important thing, because it is. You have to make this. And when you put it on that calendar, don't take the phone with you. Put that phone on vibrator. Put it off. Just shut it off altogether. When you guys go out somewhere, to the movies, dinner, whatever it is you do, turn that doggone thing off. Put it away, at least 10 feet away from you, and just enjoy your time with each other. Talking about whatever comes to mind, but leave that away while you guys are having your conversation. Okay, make sure that that's the first and foremost order of business.
Yeah, definitely. The dating is important, and to continue to get to know each other. She's somebody who keeps things in perspective, and she needs somebody as a partner who's going to do the same thing, and to keep their values very high.
And just to add one more thing in there, I know this seems old fashioned, so be it, but this is a tradition that has somewhat become a dinosaur. But listen, this has to come about, my dear. Believe me. Bring this back to old school table talk when there's conflict. Okay. When there's problems and issues, you guys need to come back to the old school table. I'm talking about when you watch those old television shows when families would sit down at the dinner table, and they would talk at the dinner table after down, and they would have their questions and comments and concerns, and they would have their family time. When you guys have those little tiffs or issues or whatever it is, set it down to the table and just discuss it over that piece of wood right there and talk at the table. Whatever it is, hammer it out, and then when you get done, get up and leave it at the table and go on about your business. Does that make sense? Never, ever, ever go to bed angry with each other. Pour it out on that table and go on about your day. Okay. That sound familiar, Skip? You remember that? We had that conversation, didn't we?
Uh-huh.
You're welcome, Loretta. I just read that.
Uh-huh.
It's like a TV screen for me, dear. It's like I got a remote in my hand, in my mind, and it flashes so quickly. I have to try to catch up, and it speeds up so fast. I have to try to slow it down a little bit. So you're welcome.
Well, Emmanuel Chavez, January 28th, 2002, wants to know if he's going to be in your relationships next year.
Did we get Cecil?
Did we? No, we did that one already.
Okay. All right, Cecil. Sorry about that. Just wanted to make sure if I mispronounced Detroit, I guess is why I don't know who that was so important. Cecile. I apologize. Detroit was pulling me for some reason that direction. Emmanuel.
Well, Emmanuel's intuitive. And if you've got a hunch about something, don't go against it. So are you going to be with someone next year? How do you feel about that? You've got the ability to know that yourself. Listen to your inner voice. it'll keep you out of trouble. And don't be too fixated on somebody's looks. That'll get you into trouble too. Look a little deeper.
I would say that there are some things that I would agree with there with what Skip has just told you, that if you find yourself hiding behind your sarcasm, hiding behind, we use sometimes the wrong or inappropriate behavior as a means, as a way to hide pain and suffering and depression. But like he just said, I don't get the impression that you're pulling the wool. You pull the wool over some people's eyes some of the time, but you can't hide everyone's eyes all the time, especially not in our particular cases. That doesn't work. I would have cautioned you to use that and explore another option rather than use that as your means to hide behind or protect yourself from the pain or depression and that emptiness or that loneliness. You don't need to feel that way. First of all, stop beating yourself up. Okay, it's not necessary. Just because somebody told you sold yourself short, or told you, "Hey, you are unworthy," or "You lack this," or "You lack that." Forget about that. Those people are no longer a part of your lives. So let's stop worrying about that. Okay, if your shoes get old and they get holes in them and your feet are showing, then it's time to get rid of those and throw those away and buy new shoes, right? If your car is getting old and it's starting to crap out and the engine doesn't work anymore, then what do? Right? Do you keep tropping along with that old thing, or do you get rid of it and get a new car, right? And like those new shoes or that new car, when it feels good and you sit in it and it's like, oh, you put your feet in those new shoes, or you put your behind in that new car, and it smells good, feels good, and it's soft and comfortable, and it's just breaking in just right. This is the way a relationship's going to go for you. It's going to be a little stiff and tight at first, the way new shoes are, the way new cars are. But in relationships, those are challenges that you'll have, those bumps in the road, those obstacles. And then once you get that time in it, it gets a little easier. But be upfront with that new partner. Don't hide behind, don't use sarcasm, don't use that typical stuff that you use with everyone else to hide behind the pain. Be upfront and honest with them. Take the opportunity when they come forth with you and share with you some of their pains that they've had in their past. Share with them, hey, you know what? I can understand where you're coming from. I've had pain like that too. Similar, have to hide behind some facade of sarcasm. Does that make sense? Be real with them, and they'll be real with you, and you'll have a much better, easier relationship. If that helps you out there, brother. Jennifer.
Yeah, we've talked to Jennifer in the past.
He's 16. Let's see what was going on with her 16-year-old.
Yeah, he's having some issues, and I think both personally and in school.
First things first with this is that it's a lack of discipline of the mind, where boundaries are not being established, put in place, and remain that way. You're the queen of the castle, dear heart. You're the queen of the castle. It's not a democracy. It is a monarchy in your household. You are the queen. He is your subject. It's how you say goes, not whatever by vote of show of hands. Okay. Doesn't matter what the television tells them, what the radio tells them, what the newspaper tells them, what the internet tells them. It's what the monarchy, what mama says goes. That's the law of the land. Okay. That's how it is. And I understand he's 16, and until he's of legal age, that's just how it is. It is what it is. Perhaps it's a good idea for him to understand that and take that little dictionary or an encyclopedia and blow the dust off of it and read up on monarchy and how that hierarchy works. Is you are the queen of the castle, and maybe he needs to read up a little bit on that history on how that works and post up on the walls the majestic word monarchy and the rulership, and how that it's your house, your rules, it's your room, not his. It's your items that you purchased for him, and that if he doesn't want to clean it, it's yours to do whatever you want to do with him. He has to abide by your laws until he's of legal age to be subjected to his own. That's how that works. That's the best way for him to learn to understand that it is not dictatorship, it's rulership. We don't get paid to have work undone. So he doesn't get paid for, the privilege of sitting home playing video games. He has